So he picked it up in the future, went back to the past, rewrote his whole history.
My father!
55! How about I give you a knuckle sandwich? We're gonna wait for my dog to casually shut the Stop! There's a lady walking around outside in cow print pants and Uggs, which is a fashion crime, so now I understand why my dog's barking. Back to the future. Oh, spoiler. Oh, thanks for the comments, y'all. Robert Zemeckis. Not Zemeckis. Zemeckis. I remember being in college, and do you remember philosophy class and the difference between active and passive knowledge? It's like passively, you know that a goat is smaller than an elephant, but it didn't become active knowledge until someone just said it to you. I passively knew that it was Robert Zemeckis, Robert Zemeckis, because of the Polar Express, among other things. And then I needed y'all's comments to like bring it back into the old dome. So thanks for that. Thanks for the correction. But okay, let's get into it. Hi, what's up? My name is Chanel. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, we screen movies from a filmmaker perspective from the comforts of my childhood bedroom, and I just had to keep going while Back to the Future is fresh in my mind. I wanted to do Back to the Future Part 2. Oh, this is what I had to talk to you about. I have a Patreon now. I know. Crazy, right? I have a Patreon. Launched it yesterday with Back to the Future as my first full-length reaction. So far, I only have a $1 tier for tipping, a $10 tier for full-length reactions where you sync your movie with me. And comment below your interest in a $20 tier, which means I host the video on Vimeo, and I put the movie behind me, and I'm like in the little corner here. So that would be a $20 tier because I do have to pay for extra space on Vimeo, and it's pretty expensive. And let me know below your interest in a $30 tier. The $30 tier is archived content. I do not have the time to do that right now, but in a month or two I will. And my plan is to go back through the archives and look for full-length reactions from old films. I pretty much have everything full-length probably from It's a Wonderful Life on, probably even before that. And then anything before that I might have in bits and pieces, but comment below your interest in a $30 tier where you get everything, rewatches, full-length reactions, and you will get access to archived content. So anything that I've previously released, I will look for and re-edit. I'm so excited to do Back to the Future Part 2. I know that at the end of Part 1, they all got in the car, including Jennifer, and I did read in the trivia, which I was kind of bummed about because it's a little bit of a spoiler, but I was dying laughing at how Jennifer just hops in the car. She's like, yay, like, let's go, no questions asked. And then you come to find out that in Part 2, they like almost immediately render her unconscious because they didn't mean to set up a sequel at the end of 1. So I think that is so funny. Oh, I'm like actually so excited for this. I'm really glad I'm doing it now because I need it fresh in my mind. And on that note, let's get right into Back to the Future Part 2. Do you guys watch Broad City? Was that kind of like Alana? No, that was bad. Without further ado, let's get right into Back to the Future Part 2. Spielberg. Sign me up, am I right? Robert Zemeckis. Saturday, October 26, 1985. This is where we left off.
How about a ride, mister?
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Marty, you're acting like you haven't seen me in a week.
I haven't.
I haven't.
I'm dying that it's a new actress. This is so funny. And we just have to pretend like it's the old Jennifer.
Greg.
And Michael J. isn't like 4 years older. That's the shot. That is the shot from the last film. I need fuel.
What are you doing, Doc? I need fuel.
It's a shot-for-shot recreation.
Just got here, okay? Jennifer's here. We're gonna take the new truck for a spin.
Oh, I'm dead. This is so self-aware. I'm like, this is amazing. This is so funny.
Back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads.
Where we're going,
We don't need
roads.
roads.
Flying DeLorean?
That soundtrack. I'm f***ing dead, y'all. And that was the last shot when they come at the camera. I just can't stop giggling. Aside from that little preamble, the opening shot of this one is the sky. They're flying. Do you love an orchestration? Comment below, please.
Know too much about their future. This way, when she wakes up, she'll think it was all a dream.
Then what did you bring her for?
I had to saw a time machine. I couldn't just leave her there with that information.
This explanation for why Jennifer's there. Dead. Duh. Hill Valley Goldie Wilson Mayer. Goldie Wilson Jr. Oh.
Right on the tick.
What?
Recognize me. I went to a rejuvenation clinic and got a whole natural overhaul. You took out some wrinkles with the hair. What do you think?
So he looks like 1955 Doc. I'm dead.
I have a mission to accomplish.
I want everyone to take note that this day on set, Elizabeth Shue got brought in to just be asleep in a car. Yeah, great day on set for Elizabeth Shue. She's just like...
You go around the corner into the Cafe 80s. Oh.
Am I seeing wrapped up
Those
CD-ROMs?
nostalgia places were not done very well.
Do we think Griff is related to Biff? Griff and Biff? Yes. Let's see how they did on 2015. They went full camp on it. Jaws 19. Did they release this film in 3D? That looked like an effect specifically made for a 2000s 3D film. When you guys go to nostalgia cafes, do you dress like the 80s?
80s, where it's always even in the afternoon.
McFly!
It's Biff!
Must be rough being named after a complete butthead.
McFly?
Butthead from
Your
one.
old man?
That's like a baby's toy.
Elijah Wood. And now that I think of it, somebody wrote that in my comments to look out for him. So that is not Michael J. Fox playing his junior. Or is it?
Thinking about it, I'm
It's
not
him.
sure because I just...
When did you become the physical type?
The answer's no, Griff.
Why is everyone behaving so wildly?
Chicken!
Like a cartoon character.
Chicken! McFly!
Like, chill out, bro. Is he a robot? And Pepsi is back on the payroll.
I need to borrow your...
Hoverboard? This is the exact ride through the town square. Guys, I don't understand this bully's motive. Like, he's got to have a really strong motive, right? Bat? Wow, this is bigger, better, grander.
Said I wish I could go back to the beginning of the season. Put some money on the Cubbies.
Does Marty become a gambling addict, you guys?
The dustbuster.
I had a dustbuster. Comment below if you had a dustbuster.
And that robbery will never take place. Thus, history, future history.
So Griff wanted Marty Jr. as a partner in a robbery. So he's been freaked out, presumably since 85, since he saw that time machine pull up. Why does he look like 85? 30 years. He should be 47. Why does he look 85? Right? Oh, I'm so stupid. No, Biff is from the Wow, you just told me to work that out in real time. Biff is from the 1955 timeline. So he was a teen in 1955.
Just take it easy and you'll be fine. And be careful in the future.
Future?
Future.
Mom? Mom, is that you?
That sounded so weird. That sounded ADR'd, like her voice was not coming from her, like it was a recording or something. Hilldale, address of sucks. Okay, so I let this go. Why is George hanging upside down?
What the hell is
That's
this?
what he looks like at 47.
It's bad
better.
Biff. It's good-looking effects. Not the worst. The scale is weird.
So,
Needles?
Who's Needles?
unless you want everyone in division to think you're chicken.
Nobody calls me Chicken Needles. Nobody! I'm fired! I'm fired!
So turn those faxes into instant text messages and you killed it. It's 2015.
Look, give me these.
Oh, she looks bad. That was some really cute staging.
Because I'll never get a chance to visit my favorite historical era, the Old West. Better that I devote myself to studying women.
Women. That's great.
Could be for a few minutes. Most
Oh,
probably a couple of
something
hours.
bad happened with her.
Better
Do you see
leave
that
some snow
close-up?
salt.
That close-up tells us something's up. I hope.
I remember bars being on these windows.
Is it not his house?
Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing in my room? Wait a minute. Wait. 1985.
This is fucking dark, you guys. So with the almanac, he was able to go back and make himself rich. Y'all, this is some Mr. Potter I knew I hated Biff.
History of the Tannen family, starting with his great-grandfather
We're
Buford
going back
Mad
west,
Dog
y'all.
Tannen, and relive Biff's happiest moment, as in 1973 Lorraine Baines McFly.
Third time's a charm.
Lorraine Baines? Isn't it Lorraine Bates?
The easy way.
The easy way. So now are we in some sort of alternate reality? The easy way?
You're safe and sound now. Back on the good old 27th floor.
27th floor. You're so...
Boob job.
My God, it's your father.
My father.
Is his dad Biff?
You're supposed to be in Switzerland, you little son.
You don't have a Marty if you have a Lorraine and a Biff. Right? This isn't as clearly plotted as number one. We're 47 minutes in, and in the first one, we knew where we were headed. Like, we knew what the object was. It was like, get mom and dad back together, get the time machine up and running. We're 47 in, and now, just about now, I'm like, okay, so Marty has to undo this.
Let's get this straight. Marty is your kid, not mine.
Marty is your kid, not mine. So she divorces George. So I feel like nothing from the first movie from 1955 stuck.
Where's my father? Where's George McFly?
Dead.
Oak Park Cemetery.
Wow. He left Jennifer on her porch, which is probably not even her porch.
That this line represents time. Here's the present, 1985.
I love a diagram. I'm so excited for this.
And the past.
I love a visual aid.
Skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985. Biff got the sports book, stole the time machine, went back in time, and gave the book to himself.
It's a stretch that he put this together. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't put this together. I'm gonna...
This has happened to me.
This is foreshadowing. Is that poking fun at Doc's Bulletproof Vest from number one? So he picked it up in the future, went back to the past, rewrote his whole history.
November 12th, 1955. That was the date I went back. Was the date of the famous Hill Valley lightning storm.
They couldn't match up the bullet that killed your old man.
That was quiet. Hoverboard? Hoverboard, Shan. The mother DeLorean! There's that theme.
Doc, what about Jennifer? What about Einstein? We can't just leave him here.
And this alternate 1985 will be changed back into the real 1985.
Wow, this is so perfect. When you have a tricky screenplay like this, you have Marty as us, the audience. He's asking all the questions we're asking. And Doc is there as, like, the omnipotent being saying, It's simple. This is it.
1955. The younger me.
They're doing the shot again.
The other you. Get back to 19.
Yes, the wide shot with the wide shot with the death.
Something inconspicuous.
Doc, come in, Doc. This is Marty, over. It is Biff's house. I'm on him.
Yes! Sandman's back.
That's about as funny as a screen door on a battleship.
Screen door on a submarine, you dork.
It's leave, you idiot. Make like a tree and leave. You sound like a damn fool when you say it wrong. All right.
I feel like the 2015 we saw at the beginning of the movie was the alt reality 2015. It was the future from the bad 1985. Because it was just too weird. But logically, that's not what they were building, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to see what sticks.
Be extremely careful not to run into your other self.
My other self?
Oh, shit.
Be a pal, hand me a 5/8" wrench out of that toolbox. Hell of a storm. Well, thanks. Nice talking to you. Maybe we'll bump into each other sometime again in the future.
Doc is just the weirdo for that moment. Just the perfect weirdo to meet his past self, present self, another self, an alt reality self. Are you guys confused? I'm confused. I wonder how much footage from movie 1, how many shots could have been repurposed into this movie. I'd imagine some. I think it's also wild that Marty got back for like 8 hours, slept, woke up, back in 1955. Like, it's been literally a day.
And I owe him a knuckle sandwich. Keep going.
How about I give you a knuckle sandwich? Come on, Marty. Oh, I hate that. That's the worst kind of pain. Yes. Tosses it out.
Yes. No.
Fuck.
Idea where he is.
Oh, I mean, he could be any.
I love this alternate angle on what happened in number 1.
It's about to deck Biff.
That is the shot from number 1, that insert. $18.85. I knew it. Oh, the coordination. I love it. Oh, I just love it. It really does just fit, you know? They had to reshoot this from all angles. That'll like kill somebody. It's a lot of weight.
I can't guess you guys aren't ready for that yet.
But your kids are gonna love it.
But your kids are gonna love it.
Wow, this must have been tough to do.
Hey, butthead. You chicken? That's it.
Right here, right now. Break it. Let's overcome our core wounds. Right now.
Nobody calls me chicken.
This is pretty genius. Close your jacket.
Steal my stuff.
Wouldn't be Back to the Future movie without some last-minute peril.
Let's land on him. We'll cripple his car.
Marty, he's in a 46 Ford. We're in a DeLorean. He ripped through us like we were tinfoil.
So what do we do?
He's in a 46 Ford. We're in a DeLorean. He'd rip through us like we're tinfoil. That's phenomenal. What a line. Marty McFly. Come on, Marty! The stunts in this one. Okay, destroy it. Light it on fire. Take a basilisk fang to it. Harry Potter. What determines your speed on a hoverboard? How hard you're kicking? Nick of time. Manure. Yeah. Yes! He does have one stat. Cubs win the World Series against Miami in 2015. I thought it was weird he took those matches. Wow, tight. Tight, tight, tight.
Mission accomplished.
Back to the future!
That was a close one, Marty.
Oh, this is the wind and lightning storm.
Don't want to get struck by lightning!
He's gonna go back to the Wild West. Oh, is Marty stuck in 55?
Doc, come in, Doc.
Wow. This seems like they deliberately set up number 3.
Mr. McFly!
A letter from me?
See, we've had that envelope in our possession for the past 70 years.
When the DeLorean, like, evaporated, it said 99. Did he go back 99 years? Damn, this sounds like a nightmare. I don't want to be stuck in a time loophole.
You received this letter immediately after you saw the DeLorean struck by lightning. First, let me assure you that I'm alive and well. One man who can help me.
Oh. Same shot from 1. So this 1955 doc should remember 1885. He should remember the Wild West.
Okay, relax, Doc. It's me, it's Marty. I'm back from the future.
Oh my god. How do you ever tie this up? They have one more movie to tie it up. And an epilogue. That's Mary Steenburgen. So... I just got goosebumps. They know that you love them. And so they're like, here's a little sneak peek into part 3. And then they're like, don't worry, it's coming. Okay, wow, Back to the Future Part 2. I'm in the know yet again. That was fun. That was really, really fun. I find it to be very different from number 1. This one is like a little convoluted, which is fine. You're dealing with time travel, and when I'm dealing with time travel, I just suspend my disbelief. Like, I'm there. Like, you just tell me what you want me to know, and I am there. So this one, I appreciated the Marty is like us, dumb and asking questions. Not dumb, but you get it. And Doc is like, oh my god, it's simple. And oh my god, I loved the diagram, that little alt. So it made perfect sense to me. It made sense to me. The one comment I have about this one in comparison to number 1 is it's more self-aware. Loved. I love a callback. They brought back all the good jokes, the manure jokes and the butthead and the make like the tree. This one, I love the self-awareness. What I don't love was the behavior of some of the characters, especially in that beginning in the 2015 scenes. Griff is like just this wild shell of a cartoon villain. And the family, in trying to make it seem futuristic, they just went weird. Like, and I don't know if in 89 when this came out, if that was like the appetite. Like, maybe the appetite for the audiences was like, if they're gonna believe that this is the future, we actually have to make it kind of weird. Because my whole deal is just like, you could have just made it normal. You could have just made some like obvious setting, clothing, makeup, design choices to indicate 2015. But did everyone have to behave like a weirdo villain in a Spy Kids movie? So the only thing I didn't like was the 2015 scenes in how they chose to go about it with like the behavior of everyone. I thought it like cheapened everything, especially when number 1 is so grounded and so real. It really is truly so real. I'm gonna stick with my theory that the 2015 that we saw was off of the alt 1985 reality, and it wasn't the 2015 that branched off of the good 1985. Or at least to me that makes the most sense, and that's what they were building. I'm a little confused. Don't spoil it for me. I will be very pissed. And I just wrote good explanations, and I trust them to tie everything up. Because I do. They've earned my trust. Okay, are you ready to move on to some trivia? According to Michael J. Fox, he found out there was going to be a sequel to Back to the Future when he watched the VHS, and the words "to be continued" were added at the end. he immediately called his agent to make sure he was going to be in the sequel. The ledge in the clock tower at the top broke in Back to the Future 1985 is still broken in 2015. Good little plant. I loved how the square of 1955 was super reminiscent of the one in 85, but the one in 2015 was very not reminiscent of either of the two. And I did want to see the whisper of the past in the present. Crispin Glover sued filmmakers as he had not granted permission to use his likeness in Part 2. He ended up dropping the lawsuit after the case was settled out of court for $765,000 by Universal Insurance. Just before Marty and Doc leave 2015, there's a shot of the time machine's control panel showing the last time departed as November 12, 1955, 6:38 p.m. If they had noticed this, they would have known someone had used the time machine without them. The plotline of George McFly being dead in 1985 was based entirely on Crispin Glover's refusal to do the sequel. Why would he refuse to do the sequel? I want to know. So that wasn't him hanging upside down? So Thomas F. Wilson did play Biff and Griff. Wow, so they recast George McFly. Jeffrey Weissman. Why did Crispin Glover not want to do Part 2? Maybe they weren't paying him enough? The principal actors and actresses had committed to the sequels before any scripts were written. However, there was a stumbling block in negotiations with Crispin Glover, George McFly, who stated that he was offered a monetary amount less than half of what Lea Thompson and Thomas F. Wilson were being paid to return. Multiple theaters screened the movie on October 21st, 2015, as that is the exact date Doc, Marty, and Jennifer time travel to the future. In 1985, when Jennifer discovers herself in her 2015 house, her daughter, Marlene, played by Michael J. Fox, I didn't clock that the daughter was played by Michael J. Fox. And that's why she sounded so weird. It was definitely ADR. Oh, I need to go back and see that. Is that true? There are 4 scenes that use the effect of the same actor interacting with themselves. In order to create the dinner sequence with the Vistaglide, the camera had to be divided into thirds, and Michael had to come in 3 different times to play his older self, Marty Jr., and his daughter, Marlene. This is the first film to accomplish interaction between the same actor on the screen twice as 2 different characters. If you'll watch closely, you'll see that 2015 Biff's hand disappears during the scene in the garage. This movie was the most advanced film of its time for using every trick in the book. According to Zemeckis, it was the late 1980s when the concept of CGI was starting. However, in the film, very few CGI effects were actually needed. Yeah, I only saw CGI in a couple of the car flying moments and the hoverboard moment. Oh, this is some cool continuity movie stuff. When Hill Valley was created for Back to the Future in 1985, they built the town in pristine 1955 condition and shot the middle of the movie, then damaged it for the 1985 town and shot the beginning and end of the movie. When they decided to shoot Back to the Future Part 2, they had to clean the set up, restore it to the same condition it was in 1955. It cost more to rebuild than it costs to build it from scratch. Wow, yeah, when you don't plan like that, no way to know. To commemorate the film, a fake teaser trailer spoofing the non-existent Jaws 19 was released October 21st, 2015. Wow, I was wondering about stuff like this. Did they use any plants, unintentional plants from movie 1 to make movie 2 make sense? And it says, in this movie, a disguised 1985 Doc Brown holds a conversation with his 1955 counterpart. 1985 Doc is wearing a brown trench coat and a hat. If you look carefully in Back to the Future 1985, you can see a man dressed exactly like this, and therefore presumably Doc, walking away shortly before the clock tower scene. Oh, I was wondering about the dance scene. Directors stated that the high school dance scene from 1955 had to be the same costumes because it would be shot from a different angle. The production was nearly delayed because Lorraine's dress couldn't be found, even though they had 3 versions of it made in 1985. Lea Thompson then revealed to Zemeckis that she had one of the original dresses and had to drive back home to get it. Very few of the original costumes from the Enchantment Under the Sea dance were used for production. The only actress wearing her original dress was Lea Thompson. Oh, did I miss Marty saying the shark still looks fake? I was probably talking. I'm sorry.
Shark still looks fake.
Originally, only one sequel was planned. The script for the sequel, known as Paradox, included all elements of this movie and Back to the Future Part 3. So originally, Part 3 and Part 2 were kind of compressed into one film. This felt very like Harry Potter Part 1, Part 2, Twilight Part 1, Part 2. This felt very much like they had 2 movies and 2 movies worth of footage, but it could have very easily just been a mega movie too. Zemeckis considers this one of his favorite and strangest films. Yeah, I think if I could say that this one's any different from 1, it's weird. It's weirder. It's so much weirder. The hoverboard sequences required many special effects and camera tricks. In the shots where Michael J. Fox was on a harness, the soles of his shoes had to be permanently attached to the hoverboard. This meant he had to be carried around in between takes of the scenes. Haha, weird. Oh, Marty freaking out at the mention of chicken was added because they felt like he didn't have any character flaws in the first film. I thought that made the movie, it took the movie out of the tone that they were so good at building in 1. I thought the tone was so real and grounded and like beautiful. And then I thought in 2, the chicken element just like made everyone a cartoon. Like I didn't really care about the chicken element. Was it funny? Sure, it was funny. The closing scenes of the first movie were reshot as the opening scenes of this film. Several changes were made, especially in Christopher Lloyd's delivery of his lines. That would just be cool to look at. I would just be very interested in looking at that.
Where?
Back to the future!
Where? Back to the future.
I need fuel! I need fuel!
The reverse 99 image in the sky is not intended to represent a mathematical figure that designates a number of years traveled in time. It's merely a pair of flaming spiral trails. I think my biggest confusion comes from Marty Sr. losing his job. Like, that wasn't the Marty we knew. That was like a stuck Marty. There's something I'm missing. Maybe it's in part 3. I hope that I'm not wrong. Like, something was up about that 2015. I just didn't like it. That is so... I think the weirdest thing in the world is that I didn't catch that Michael J. Fox played his sister. Okay, in the interest of time, I will cut the trivia section here because, as you know, I can go on for absolutely ever. And you know what? I like when you guys tell me stuff that I didn't pick up on in the comments below. You know, like Twin Pine, Lone Pine Mall. Okay, so you saw what I have to say about Back to the Future Part 2, so if you wouldn't mind, please meet me in the comments down below where we talk about it. I would absolutely love it. You can watch my full-length reaction on my Patreon on the $10 level if you have the movie yourself, and I'm thinking about adding a $20 level soon, where you can see the movie on the screen with me, so do comment below if you're interested in that. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend who likes Back to the Future. Yeah, let's just talk about it. And on that note, I'm gonna go eat dinner.